Welcome to the 2021 Perpich Commencement Ceremony. My name is Rebecca Bullen, and I'm the Assistant Principal and Studio Arts Chair. This year has been coined an unprecedented one. Honestly, that word has been used way too much. We've all learned new ways of being in life and education, teaching and learning. It's been an unusual year. In that light, I ask that you join me in acknowledging all the hard work our staff and teachers have created to support our Perpich seniors in making it to this day. Our teachers have worked hard to find ways to connect, engage, and deliver academic and arts curriculum. And with their hard work, learning and creativity continued. Please welcome our amazing Perpich faculty and staff. An unusual year in teaching and an unusual year in learning. The class of 2021 has persevered. From the shy, nervous junior to the self-aware senior who projects their voice that much louder, who has more intent and trust in their brushstroke, the line, the form they make, the photo they take, the dance they create, the story they write, the song they sing, or the act they perform. Despite distance learning, a week here, 2 weeks online, they have persevered. Please welcome the class of 2021. Running a state agency has its challenges. Running a state agency that's also a public school and during a pandemic presents all new challenges. Our executive director has worked countless hours behind the scenes, sorting through legislative policies and procedures, safety plans, budgets, and state mandates. Necessary and important work. In my eyes, just as important, he asks questions of our community and shows compassion and empathy for staff, students, and families. He cares about the school and the people who make up the Perpich community. Please welcome Perpich Executive Director, Dr. Charles Rick.
Welcome, members of the class of 2021 at Perpich High School, family members, faculty, staff, Chair Linda Brobeck, Board of Directors, Principal Conn McCartan, and Assistant Principal Rebecca Bullen. It is an honor to be part of the 2021 graduation ceremony at Perpich Center for Arts Education. Graduation is recognized as an important step in the lives of this year's graduating class. No one could have imagined this year with all the changes and problems brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. We made it through the year. You made it through the year. It was not easy and something all of us will remember for a long time. Words are hard to find how to describe this school year. I can only imagine the stress you went through in completing your senior year at Perpich High School. In part, your success is due to the dedication and hard work of the staff on a daily basis, not knowing if we were going to be in distance learning, hybrid learning, or in-person learning. More importantly, I commend you for sticking with us and making necessary changes to get to today. Also, I want to thank the parents for all the support and the ups and downs your child experienced this past months. I want to think at the end of the day, we are all better off having lived through this experience. Finally, I encourage you to follow your dreams and hopes as your presence at Perpich Arts High School helps set a tone for future students. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rick. I have been a part of the Perpich community for 11 years. As you know, it's a special place. I shared with seniors yesterday that as we started a year in a school of hybrid, I was concerned that distance would impact the community. They proved me wrong. They have held themselves up, and when that was not attainable, those around them stepped up to assist and support. Today's student speaker is the perfect example of positivity and stepping up. Online or in the hall, Savanna Ferrera is a beacon of kindness, intellect, and compassion. Serving on the student leadership team, co-creating a school magazine in the middle of a pandemic, and one of 2 seniors in the literary program, she advocates for creativity, expression, and connection. I always feel better in her presence. Please join me in welcoming the senior class of 21 student speaker, Savanna Ferrera.
I'd like to thank you all for being here, friends and family, to witness and celebrate the end of a journey for this year's soon-to-be graduates. We are delighted that you came, whether through the streaming service or here in the audience. And I'd also like to give a special thank you to all the Perpich teachers with us today who have helped us come so far. We couldn't have done it without any of them. Not without Amy's pre-recorded lessons she put hours into making. Not without Craig's contagious joy for the beauty of art. Not without Bob's groovy charisma, or without Joao's supportive manner. And certainly not without Pickerel's daily morning jokes. They are the foundation for this place of freedom. Because that's what Perpich is. Perpich is artistic freedom, where we, artists of all different forms, come together to express ourselves as we find our place in the world around us. We are Perpich, all of us and each of us. Graduates from 20 years ago, graduates from last year, and us today. If you wear that dedication necklace in public, you're bound to meet one of them. I met a literary graduate at a rag stock in Uptown, and she was kind enough to give me a discount. And I've heard stories of people getting into Valley Scare for free because the employee recognized the Perpich pendant. But of course, Perpich is much more than saving a couple bucks at Lucky Times. But it's about that immediate respect for someone else because of a community shared. When we applied here, regardless of our nerves during the auditions and the interviews, we chose to embrace ourselves, our artistic power, and a hope for an unknown future. We wrote our stories, recorded or wrote music, or a monologue, or a dance, and submitted artwork with the intention of taking our skill and soaring with it. And now here we are. We're about to fly. And even though we were separated this year, Perpich was not. We were together, even though we weren't. Art is a power that transcends physical boundaries. As we sat in our rooms dealing with connection issues and forgetting to unmute ourselves, we were still communicating, creating, and discovering. Cameras on or cameras off, we were still there. Many of us were constantly fighting the urge to lay in bed all day and sleep the pandemic away. There were many struggles to overcome this year. Wi-Fi outages and fuzzy screens, screaming audio feedback, and laptops losing their battery in the middle of class. We lost the sociability that we always thought we'd have. We were physically alone for a large part of our year, our only communication being through that screen. Yet, here we are, together at the finish line. If we have the strength to overcome this, I am sure that we can handle what life will become in the future. I am sure that we will grow with it and adapt to it. As artists, it is our right to take the world, to perceive it, to understand it, and work to change it. Sometimes, like this year, they are quiet fights, fought in the home. And also, like this past year, some fights can only be won together through the assembly of the people to demand social justice, equality, or freedom. Returning seniors, we had the opportunity to experience Perpich in its pre-pandemic state, without really any space between us at all. I sometimes find that I mourn the experiences that we may have had. I miss what could have been move-in day, when we all ate food under the shade of the trees and got to meet each other for the first time. I miss what could have been another bagel day. Last year, Conn must have bought out all of Panera's produce for the day and brought it here to Perpich. We celebrated Bagel Day, of course, by eating all those tasty bagels, but we also played a bagel cahoot and recited bagel odes. I miss that we won't be throwing a junior into the pond this year to keep the tradition alive. Yet, I urge us all today to not dwell. COVID-19 could not disconnect Perpich, though it forced that space between us. Art exists where you are. Art exists in that powerful place in the very core of you. And I can only hope that for all of you, Perpich has only strengthened that ability and that passion. That your art is like a flower inside that always blooms. And to all the new seniors, know that you are strong to leave the place you were during that time of unknowing and fear. To change schools so close to the end and experience a year distant in a community foreign. And to thrive regardless. Perpich was a safe space, both online and on campus. And I'll bet Carol, our guidance counselor, isn't like the other ones you've had at your previous schools. She made us all, lovingly of course, come to her office or through a Google Meet so we could have a senior meeting with her, so that she could get to know us, so that she could help us find our future, and because she wants you to feel that safety. She, among all of the other welcoming staff and students, hope that you have felt just as much home here as the rest of us. Be proud of the work that you have done here 1 year or 2 years. You have fallen sick and you've gotten better. You've succeeded and you've failed. You've lost friends and you've made friends. The future is wide before us, and with it, let's keep creating and let's keep communicating and let's keep discovering, because there is no end to art. There is no end to the power that it holds. Our lives are ahead of us. We can leave this chapter of our story knowing that endings are really just new beginnings. We can take all that we have learned from Perpich, the teachers, our classmates, and ourselves, and continue to build on what we have created here. You are powerful as an artist. Congratulations, class of 2021. We made it. So Meera Safford is our only senior from dance this year. Dance, as an art, can exist by itself, but often it thrives as a collective. Dancing through a screen in cramped kitchens and furniture-crowded areas proved to be a little bit difficult. But these dancers were strong in these times of struggles by supporting each other and lifting each other up. As a group, Meera and 6 new juniors choreographed a piece for us today. Each dance is inspired by a single word. Mary Harding, the dance teacher, is at the heart of this production. I've heard her often say, "To look with love." That gesture and statement alone tells you what Mary strives to be as a teacher. So feast your eyes on their masterpiece. So this year, my friend Kepler and I are the only seniors in Lit. We've both been so grateful to have Shannon as our teacher. She has a power with words, and with it has taught us how to write with a certain brilliance that's still true to our own style. Our performance today is a combined poem written separately about what Lit means to us. The first line is Kep's, the second line is mine, the third line is Kep's, and so on, but I'll just be reading it today. And one thing to know before hearing it is that the Lit group last year had class in room 201, and right next door is the Lit loft. A blue painted room with comfy cushions, big windows, and words all over the walls. This year, the Lit group walked over to the Gaia building, which is to the left of Perpich. When on campus, we were in a room that we call the glass box, because it's completely made of windows. And in a way, we never left Perpich, because the Lit loft is like its own little glass box, and coincidentally, that room in the Gaia building is also a room 201. This poem is called Back into the Blue. This whole school fits inside my heart. Sunlight streams through the windows, for it's made my love grow exponentially. Thoughts wander like the wind moves the trees. My life force blooms like a flower in May. A room in the sky among the clouds writes itself across my page before I even know the words. Which of those words can embody a feeling we can't name? One hand in unison, ready to create worlds. A pencil is like a paintbrush, and paper is the canvas. Creating friendship and joy. Inside those walls, I have seen what learning is meant to be. All together in a box made of glass. Where I met people like me who weren't as far away as they had always seemed. Weightless as we raise each other up. Art is to write, just as to write is art, confessing a different love each day on paper. Letters arrange and become a cascade. We collect inside jokes as static does to fleece. My heart is in room 201. Storms outside the window and weathering the ones in our minds. The loft is like a soul, forever held in a delicate blue light. We weave our stories as a single being, and we'll be leaving this home now. Our fabric is made of our past experiences and our current wisdom. But the sun will still be streaming through. Our creativity and passion form one great quilt to cover ourselves when we get lonely. Words are the ties that bind us like a book. The media arts students this year have been experimenting with cinema, the technical skills that go along with that, digital and darkroom photography, and creating short fiction and documentary videos inspired by their own lives. Our media teachers, Lauren Bina and Gila Nikpe, are proud of the community the media students have created, how they advocate for each other, how they support each other, and their persistence to help each other with life both inside and outside of the classroom. This production will be a slideshow of sorts with mixed media art woven throughout. So please direct your attention to the screen for a brilliant collection of artwork. I'm happy to be introducing the best math teacher of all time, Amy Burge, to speak next. Not quite. I had her for my stats class in my junior year, and I can attest to her wonderfully bright and authentic enthusiasm for life. As I mentioned in my speech just a little while ago, Amy is one of the many teachers here who puts all of her effort into helping us understand the material in her classes. She does so with patience and positivity. This year, she was chosen as faculty speaker among many other equally wonderful teachers because her positivity remained just as strong as it had ever been. Amy is a light when the world felt dark. And as students, we appreciate every kind word and all of the endless support that she has to offer. So please welcome Amy to the stage.
I was prepped this time, so I didn't cry. Parents, family, faculty, class of 2021. You are finally here. You made it. Take a breath and enjoy the moment. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Graduation day has always seemed like such an asymptote. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, so for those of you who are hearing crickets and don't know what that means, let me give you a little mini lesson. An asymptote is a boundary, usually a line, that you can get closer and closer to, but you never actually reach it. Some real-world examples would be like getting your laundry completely done, achieving financial euphoria, or having 0 unread emails in your inbox. So close, and yet, nope. But you're here, the Perpich graduating class of 21, or as I like to call you, 7 times 3. I know, enough with the math stuff, but just one more, okay? Who has a calculator? Because I know someone does in here. Someone get one out. Come on, really? Really? Who here? All right, cool. So here's what I want you to do. Are you ready? You're going to type in 43 times 47 and tell me what you get. Drum roll. What? Louder! 2021! Right? Isn't that funny? Like, my teachers told me I'd never have a calculator, and now you all have your calculators and you don't have them out today? Crazy. But 2021, right? Like, who knew? And let me just tell you how special that is. Your graduation year is the product of the largest consecutive prime numbers less than 50. That's pretty special. Really, trust me on that. All right, so for those of you who got lost in all this, it's okay, just smile and nod. It won't be on the test. And you might need to create an art project based on it, but you can use your emotional confusion and angst. It's all good. Speaking of uncomfortable, I'm wondering if I could ask you all to do me a favor. Underneath your seats is a piece of cardboard and some markers. If you could just pull those out and draw something on it that represents who you are as a person, and then hold it up in front of your face for the rest of the speech, and try not to talk or laugh or breathe or make any kind of sound. Because if you have something to say, could you just put it in the chat? Jay, could you watch that for me so I don't miss anything? Thanks. I'm just kidding. There's no art supplies under your seats. That was a really cruel joke in an art school. I'm so sorry. But honestly, having actual faces with actual emotional responses in an actual auditorium is so weird. Even seeing your eyeballs over your masks is both refreshing and terrifying. But we should have been ready for this. As artists, we know that we get our inspiration and our information from the most unlikely places because we are paying attention in ways that the average person is not. So parents, this is what you missed. In 1995, the movie Johnny Mnemonic came out, and starring Keanu Reeves. You should have been paying attention. So let me read the synopsis I found on the interwebs. The internet has grown to become an all-powerful presence. Conglomerate corporations rule the international marketplace, and people struggle to define truth from the computer-generated falsehoods being spread. Too spot on? But wait, there's more. There's also a dangerous pandemic plaguing the world, with scientists racing to find the cure. Google it. That's totally plagiarized. This movie was based on the short story written by William Gibson in 1981. So in the future, pay attention. That's on all of us. I missed it too. Hindsight and all. But no matter what, during this past year, we have all been through a lot. This 1 year has felt like an entire decade, not just a series of a few months. It was like there was some quantum disturbance that ascended from beyond and twisted the very essence of time, space, and reality. Just when you became comfortable with the new normal, bam, something else would happen. Or maybe we're just living in an emerging art piece. What's your artist statement? What experience do you want your audience to walk away with? Every generation has their events that marks their historical timestamp. For my parents, it was the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor and the assassination of John F. Kennedy. For me and my generation, it was the explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger in Florida and the attack on the Twin Towers in New York. And what do all these events have in common, aside from being completely American-centric? All of them can be linked with the question, where were you when you heard? Where were you when you knew that this thing had happened over there? Because that's not the question that's going to be asked to you by future generations. What you're going to be asked is, did you catch the virus? How bad was it? Did you watch the George Floyd video? Most importantly, how did it change you? Because you have been changed. You had to. Because you survived and you struggled and you thrived and you found a way out the other side, and now you're graduating. Because you, like all the generations that came before you, are not defined by those events. Those are just time markers. Your generation has grown up with technology and is able to see the world in a way that prior generations could not. Social media has created amazing ways for us all to connect and communicate with people that we know in our real lives and with people we've never actually met in person. For you, this is completely normal. Your musical choices are much more broad and varied with YouTube and SoundCloud and Spotify. Your media choices are practically limitless with Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, and all those have made you open to a more diverse world. Your generation, Gen Z, is the first to truly embrace gender-neutral pronouns. You are the most racially diverse population in America, despite what we see here in Minnesota. The innovations that you've seen in your lifetime have been astounding. The first iPhone in 2007, the first smartphone in 2004, 3D printing, virtual reality, the birth control patch, e-readers, gene editing, digital assistants, a robot heart, and so much more. You've been surrounded by such amazing innovations, it's no wonder you're constantly plugged in. You might miss something. So while I still have the mic, there are a few thoughts that I want to leave you with. First of all, be kind. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Say thank you. If you can't think of anything else to say thank you, especially to your parents. Don't be a bystander. Be an accomplice for the greater good. And most importantly, laugh. Laugh every day. In closing, I want to leave you with some homework. I know you thought that was done, but it's not. It won't be graded in the same way that you're used to. But your generation has a lot of things to fix that those of us who came before you did some work on, but never actually completed the final project. So before I give you the list, I'm going to say thank you. Poverty and homelessness, climate change, civil rights and racial discrimination, gender and queer inequality, healthcare availability, the refugee crisis, the income gap, gun violence, bullying, childhood obesity, hunger and food insecurity, and cryptocurrency. That last one I'm still not sure of, and people keep trying to explain it to me, but I understand that it's a problem, so if you could just fix that, that would be great. Thanks. All right, that's your assignment. Are you up for it? Yeah! Sorry we left you with such a mess, but hey, you're artists. That's what you do. Take this mess and turn it into something breathtaking. Class of 2021, you are dismissed.
Next, you're about to witness a short scene inspired by the work of Anton Chekhov, a Russian playwright born in the mid-19th century, the same playwright who inspired their last musical. The three performing seniors are Jordan, Katia, and Jack. Perpich welcomed Jordan as a new senior this year. Jack was a music student last year, which led him to explore theater this year. And Katia has been here for 2 years. Tori, our sensational theater teacher, is recognized by all of Perpich students to have a thundering personality and a particular humor that we all really do appreciate, both of which he uses to fuel his teaching in the theatrical arts. So prepare to be amazed.
But the birch trees are on leaf and we must stay inside. We left our old school a few years ago. I remember it all. Coming to Perpich in September, in Golden Valley, everything was awash with sunlight and no COVID. I remember it all. This morning I wake up and I see masks in Google Classroom.
I see a merit scene.
I go online every morning, have homework every evening. I have headaches and terrible thoughts. It's as if I've grown old. During COVID, my youth and strength have been oozing away. The only thing that grows and strengthens is one single drink. Graduation! COVID ending. That's also a good one. Only two things grow and strengthen.
When I woke up for graduation this morning, it suddenly seemed that everything was clear to me. And I now know how I must live. I know everything. I must work. And in this alone is the aim of my life. My happiness. My bliss. How wonderful to be a high school graduate. One who rises at daybreak
I was up till about 4 a.m. practicing the violin. Right when I finally got to sleep, the sun came up. The sun came up again. Hold still for a minute or two. I want to get a picture. All right. Say cheese.
Cheese.
All right, that's one. Guys, come on, come on. All right, say cheese.
Cheese.
That's two. Group photo. All right, say cheese, everyone.
Cheese.
Cheese. All right, that's one. I wish you both absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. You can move now. You can move.
I have a headache. Craziness of graduation. I'll go lay down. After graduation, I'll be free. How pleasant that'll be. What is it?
Where? Where's high school gone? Where are all the things I learned from Amy and Pickerel and Joao? Oh my god, I've forgotten everything! Everything! Everything is confused and we'll never ever get it back!
At least we no longer have to listen to toy drums on and on about how Chekhov's works are marked by a strength for creating vignettes of men and women in an impressionistic manner, thus being a precursor to existential thoughts in the Western world. Unlike the absurdists like Beckett, Pinter, or Ionesco. Jeez Louise.
I have decided it is not my destiny to graduate. Everything is as God wills it. I will stay at Perpich. I am unready to leave. I need more Chekhov.
The present is unbearable. But if you look ahead to the future, how fine it is. The world becomes so free and so spacious. Life is a theater artist's palette. Let us create, Irina. Let us create.
I'm ready. Au revoir, Perpich.
Not au revoir, but goodbye. We'll hardly see each other again, except on social media.
Well, shall we go?
Yes, let's go.
If only we knew. If only we knew.
For the visual artists this year, it's been a time of individual artistic introspection to find the artist within. Jeremy, Cameron, Sandy, Kate, and Catherine are the studio arts instructors here. All are diverse in their facets of ability, which include digital art, resin art, shrinky dinks, comics, sculpting, screen printing, painting, and drawing in the many ways that they come in. And there's jewelry and there's sewing. The representation for this year's senior class will be a slideshow of their work, put together by the visual arts teachers. These artworks are either the students' favorite piece that they've done this year or a piece that they feel represents themselves. So take a proud look. James Allen and Kevin Holstein are the music arts teachers. As exceptional musicians themselves, they've been working with their students on writing music, playing music, recording it, improvising it, and learning about its different styles. Music is another art that thrives as a collective, but through the screens, they were still able to find a way to collaborate. Today, however, is their first live performance in front of an audience. So everyone get excited to hear some magic, because that's what I've known all of Elena, Michelle, and John's music to be, and they wrote it together.
Hello, everyone. My name is Conn McCartan, and I am proud to serve as the principal here at the Perpich Center for Arts Education. At this time, we will present the members of the class of 2021 for graduation. While it may be a system that in many graduations, what I will tell you today is don't you dare hold your applause as each graduate's name is read. Madam Chair, Dr. Rick, each of these students are eligible to participate in this ceremony, and upon verification of meeting all requirements of the Perpich Center for Arts Education and the state of Minnesota, will receive a diploma from the Perpich Center for Arts Education. It is my pleasure to have them presented to you. Graduates, as you come up, either Dr. Rick or Board of Directors Chair Linda Brobeck will greet you at the bottom of the stairs. Rebecca and I will be up on the stage just as we rehearsed. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of diplomas.
Faith Blackstone. Grace Blanchard. Abigail Bodick. Clara Byron. Samson Chalupsky. Emma Christensen. Laurent Dial. Simi Dial. Ella Ebner. Anna Elgin. Kari Erickson.
Elena Geffen. Michelle Teyvel. John Thro. Barnes. Vince Freeland. Broden Grimm. Bryn Halverson. Megan Yankee. Ian Johnson. Cassandra Cadet. Hannah Krabenhoft. Julia Magel. Haley Peterson. Riley Rees. Yumi Romano. So Nisa Warren. Reagan Wittstein.
So we've reached the part of the program that says the closing. So here I am to close things down. But before officially acknowledging our graduates, allow me to just offer some thanks. Graduates, you've heard this, but as you well know, you do not get to a place like this alone. You have been supported along the way by your family, by your home communities. Your schooling up to this time at Perpich has set you up for success with us. The amazing faculty and staff here have provided you with a remarkable culminating experience to your K-12 education. Thanks also goes out to everyone who helped make this event happen. Your program lists the members of our graduation committee who planned out this ceremony. And personally, I want to thank Cindy Ledaney and Rebecca Bullen, who shouldered the bulk of the work leading up to today. Graduates, will you join me in showing our appreciation for all these important people? A couple of housekeeping items. The graduates will process out the same way that they came in when I close things down. Families, I would ask please that you wait until they process out and then you can follow them. Graduates, don't stop until you leave the front door. And I mean that lovingly, not as in get out of here, but because we have another ceremony right afterwards, we'll have our gathering with families and all the pictures and stuff out in the front of the building. So please, families, if you'd wait until they exit, and then you can meet your graduates in the front of the building. Allow me, please, to close as we started, using the same theme that I started out our school year with when I addressed you as a cohort group during our orientations in the fall. No one wanted to have a school year like this. We endured a pandemic that impacted how we interact, impacted the economic situation of a number of people, and was a source of anxiety for a number of people. Our school is just moments away from the epicenter of a racial reckoning in our country brought on by the death of George Floyd and Dante Wright at the hands of police. And yet, I can say we are fortunate to have experienced this year together. Why? To be in a community of artists, to be immersed in a learning environment that is infused in and informed by the arts allows us to develop the kinds of skills to not just experience the world, but to examine it. It allows us not just to critique the world, but to have that critique serve as a catalyst for addressing improvements in each iteration we strive to create. The artist's response to the world is more than a reflection. It is also an expression of what might be, what can be. The skilled artist knows how to use negative space to bring forth the image they hope for. They can see what they want to bring forth in their source material, and they do so by removing that which is not what they want to express. As Michelangelo said, I saw the angel in the marble, and I carved until I set it free. We sought to build that community together this year, one where we engaged learning, creation, relationship, and responsibilities in such a way that we could see the beauty in our challenged world and carve to set it free. It was true what the world told us. Mask wearing and social distancing are effective ways to stay safe in a pandemic, but we also adhered to those practices because we saw the beauty in caring for one another's health and safety. It is true that in our world, for far too long, people who look like me have constructed structures that systematically disadvantage people of color. But we could see the beauty in critiquing and restructuring those systems and the benefit we all would realize because of it. Graduation ceremonies are referred to as commencements because they actually signal beginnings, not endings. Today we celebrate you commencing the next chapter of your lives where, hopefully, you will take your artistic mindset and see the beauty, the possibilities in the marble of whatever community you find yourselves in. Your work is no more complex and no more simple than to create a next iteration of our communities that builds on what is beautiful and chisels away that which is not. So, with that, class of 2021, commence. Will you please rise? Please turn and face our audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present to you these graduates of the Perpich Arts High School.